All right, today we're doing the third lesson in chapter 5.3, and we're going to be talking some more about multiplying binomials. Now we're also going to be adding in some special products that we will talk about. But right now we're going to practice it a little bit more. This is something you have to do a whole bunch in math, so you need to practice it a lot so that it becomes really easy. Okay, so that being said, let's get started. All right, FOIL, right? First, outer, inner, and last. We now add the two middle terms together because they're like terms. So I have x squared plus 4x plus 3 as my final answer. All right, I have first, outer, inner, and last. So that gives me, 42. So now we add the two middle terms. And we end up with x squared plus 13x plus 42. And there we are. All right, I'm going to blow this up a little, give myself a little more room. All right. 15 x squared minus 6x. Sorry, that minus is just a little high, almost looks like a negative. So there we go, that's better. All right, and then I have inner and last. Add the two middle terms. 20 minus 6 is 14, plus 14x minus 8. Final answer. $70 minus 21y, inner minus 20y. Last is a plus 6y squared. Add the middle ones together. 70 minus 41y. Yep, and sorry, that was a plus 6y. Yes. Now, this is not in standard form. So this would be fine, except possibly like on MATLAB, they might want it in standard or general form. If they say that, then you have to put the degrees in descending order. So they would want to see something like that. So you got to watch for your instructions on MATLAB and see what they're doing. All right. First, outer minus 35x squared, inner minus 6x squared, and last gives me a plus 10. The middle terms are both x squareds, so I can go ahead and add these together. It's going to leave me with 21 x to the fourth minus 41x squared plus 10. Okay, special patterns. The product of the sum and the difference of the same two terms. Okay, so notice these are what we call conjugates. Conjugate means you have the same first term, the same last term with a change of sign. So notice I have A, and I have B and B, but I have a plus and a minus. That's what's going to give me my pattern, which is a squared minus b squared. And we'll do some of these worked out the long way so you can see why that pattern is happening. Okay, so x squared minus 5x squared plus 5x squared. Notice those are going to cancel, aren't they? And then the last are going to give us a minus 25. But notice that I have a minus 5x squared and a plus 5x squared. When I add them, I'm going to get 0. So my final answer is going to be x squared minus 25. Now notice that A is basically my x, B was 5, so I have a squared minus b squared. What's happening is when I have the same x and the same a and the same b with different signs, the middle terms are canceling and leaving us with just the outside terms. So, x squared minus 6x plus 6x minus 36, x squared. Those cancel, minus 36. Okay, so now it's easy to pick out the pattern. So let's look at this with the pattern. All right, my A is 2x. My B is 4. So I end up with 2x squared. Now remember, when I have two things multiplied together, both being raised to the power, I can move that power inside. So, and then it's minus 4 squared, which is 16. What I end up with here is 2 squared is 4, x squared minus 16. That's my final answer. Here, A is 1, B is y to the 4th. So I'm going to have a squared, 1 squared is 1, minus b squared, y to the 4th squared is 4 times 2, 8. So it's y to the 8. Okay. Sorry, my throat's a little scratchy. Next page. Let's zero in on this. Okay, now we're squaring a binomial. Now, sometimes if you forget, it's a very common thing to make a mistake when doing this. So remember, you cannot distribute this squared in and get x squared minus 6 squared. No. That is not how it works. That squared means what I really have is x minus 6 times x minus 6. You know this, you just forget when you're doing binomials. So, sometimes it's easier to just write it out and multiply it. So, you'd have x squared minus 6x minus 6x plus 36. We add the two middle terms, x squared minus 12x plus 36. Okay, now let's look at our pattern here. In this case, A is x and B is 6. So what I've got here is a squared, that's x squared, plus 2 times a times b. Oops, my plus was really ugly. There we go. 2 times a times b. So a and b together are 6x. Times 2 gives me 12x. And then b squared. So that's plus 36. Oops, I made one little mistake here. Let's look at that. This should not have been a plus, because in this case, b was minus 6. So this was a minus. So that's our pattern. All right. So I'm going to do one more where I multiply it out. So I have x plus 6, x squared, x 6x, plus another 6x, plus 6 squared, which is 36. I add the two middle bits, I get x squared. I gotta, whoops, nope, sorry. I forgot to work on my 2's. When I'm writing on the iPad, which is what I'm doing right now, I tend to shortcut my penmanship. Okay, so that would be my final answer. So let's look at this with the formula we have. A is x, b is 6. Our formula is a squared, so I have x squared. Whatever the symbol in the middle is, in this case, it's a plus. So it's whatever this symbol is. So it's plus, and then ab times 2. So that's 6x times 2 is 12x. And then plus b squared, which is 36. So see, I came out with the exact same answer either way I do it. Okay, so you want to be able to use that formula because it will make it easier for you, but you have to remember it. Okay, so now using the formula, a is x, b is negative 2. I have a squared. I use the symbol in the middle, minus a times b times 2. So I have a negative 4. That gives me that minus 4x. B squared is plus, plus 4. And that's my answer. So now I have a is x, x squared, plus is the symbol. 2 times 4 is 8x. 4 times 4 is 16. See? It makes it pretty nice. Whoops. Now, remember when I have this squared here, it's the same thing as multiplying it twice. All right, a is 5x squared. If I square that, minus 2 times a and b plus, okay, that's just everything all plugged in. So 5x squared is going to give me 25 because I square the 5, and x to the 4th because I square the x squared. Whoops. Starting to write a 2. All right, 2 times 3 is 6, times 5 is 30, so I have minus 30x squared plus negative 3 squared is 9. So this would be my final answer. Oh, this one's not nice. But it's not horrible, so we'll get to it. All right, so a is 3x. So I have that squared gives me 9x squared because I have to square the 3 as well. And then b is 1/3. So I have 2 times a times b and plus b squared. Now 1/3 squared, 1 squared is 1. 3 squared is 9. Pretty simple. All right, so simplify 9x squared plus 2 times, well, notice that my 3's cancel. So I have just 2. So it's 2x plus 1/9. And we're done. That's simplified. Okay, x to the 8 plus 5. Well, x to the 8 squared plus 2 times x to the 8 times 5 plus 5 squared. So x to the 8 squared is 8 times 2 is 16. So x to the 16 plus 2 times 5 is 10. X to the 8 plus 5 squared is 25. And there we have it. All right, let's mix it up. Oh, they're doing some of the both types. All right. This is just a straight FOIL. Notice I don't have similar patterns. I don't have 3x plus 2, 3x minus 2. I don't have 3x plus 2, 3x plus 2. This is just a FOIL. So I have 3x to the 3 plus 4 times 3 is 12x plus 2x squared plus 2 times 4 is 8. Now, final answer, I'm going to need to put this in the proper order. So my final answer would be 3x, I hate it when my x's are bad too, 3x cubed plus 2x squared plus 12x plus 8. That would be my final answer. All right, this one is conjugates. Notice the plus and the minus with the same first term and last term. So this is going to be the first term squared minus the last term squared. 2 squared is 4. X squared is x squared. Minus 1 squared is 1. Not too bad. Okay. Pattern, a squared plus 2 times a times b. Well, that's 2 times 2 is 4. Plus b squared, which is 2 squared, which is 4. And that's that. Not too bad. All right. Hopefully you feel confident to work on this on your homework.